Have you ever felt the weight of a single note that could shatter your world or save it? Like a lone saxophonist playing his final riff on a blood-soaked stage while the audience screams. Episode 5 of Trigun Stargaze, What a Wonderful World, drops you straight into that terrifying, beautiful moment. Released on February 7th, 2026, and streaming exclusively on Crunchyroll, this chapter hits right in the middle of the storm that began 2.5 years after the nightmare of Lost July. The safe haven called home is under fire, old scars are ripped open, and one man's cross-shaped gun meets another man's murder saxophone in a duel that feels like history itself deciding who deserves to keep breathing. I watched it with my heart in my throat, the desert wind almost tasting like iron on my tongue, and by the end I was whispering the same question the characters ask. Can anyone really walk away from the monster that owns them? If you've ever wondered whether mercy is weakness or the bravest stand of all, this episode will make you feel the answer in your bones. And trust me, you'll need to see it for yourself to know which side you land on. Picking up straight from the growing threat that closed the last episode, Mid-Valley the Horn Freak storms toward home with sonic destruction in his hands. Wolfwood, the gun-toting priest we've come to love, steps into the arena to buy precious minutes while Vash is still recovering. New hair, tuned-up arm, same unbreakable smile. What follows is half an episode of raw, personal combat that feels like two old war buddies forced to settle scores they never chose. Flashbacks bleed in like old wounds reopening, showing exactly why Mid-Valley became the man he is. Vash arrives at the perfect moment, not with fists, but with the one weapon no one expects: pure, stubborn kindness. The episode ends on a cliffhanger so sharp it feels like the sky itself is cracking open. You sit there, pulse racing, needing to know if one promise can hold back an entire army of fire. That's the magic, no selling, just an ache to press next episode and find out if hope really can win. This episode is a masterclass in how one fight can carry an entire season's weight. The pacing is tight and breathless, never wasting a second, yet every punch and every word lands with emotional gravity. No confusing fog here, the story makes crystal clear what the manga only hinted at. Mid-Valley isn't a monster by choice. He's a terrified kid covered in his bandmates' blood after knives turned a concert into a slaughterhouse. That single flashback, handled with gut-wrenching restraint, answers every "why does he still serve?" question fans have asked since the original series. He's not loyal, he's broken, and that makes him far more dangerous, and far more human. Wolfwood's growth hits like a freight train. Remember the cocky priest from earlier episodes who mocked Vash's pacifism? Here he chooses life over death, even when the easy kill is right in front of him. It's the same choice a soldier makes after too many battles, deciding he won't let the war define him anymore. Vash, true to form, stays consistent yet transformative. He doesn't just spare Mid-Valley, he offers to protect him. In a world that screams kill or be killed, that moment feels like Gandhi stepping in front of a tank or a single man standing in front of Tiananmen Square. You feel the weight of every life he's trying to save. The themes cut deep: free will versus chains of fear, mercy as the ultimate rebellion, and the question every survivor asks: am I still me, or just what the pain made me? These aren't just anime ideas. They're the same struggles we face when we stay in toxic jobs, toxic relationships, or toxic mindsets because leaving feels scarier than staying. Studio Orange delivers again under director Masako Sato and art director Osamu Nakajima. The fight choreography is poetry in motion. Wolfwood's massive Punisher spinning like a deadly windmill, Mid-Valley's saxophone. Blasts ripping through the air with visible sound waves that vibrate your screen. Colors tell the story too. Warm desert oranges bleeding into cold blues of fear, red splatters that feel too real. The stillness in the flashbacks hits harder than any explosion. The soundtrack, still composed by Tatsuya Kato, treats Mid-Valley's sax like a living character, wild jazz riffs that start confident and slowly fracture into panic. Silence after the final note, louder than any gunshot. Voice acting is perfection. Yoshimasa Hosoya as Wolfwood gives that gravelly voice a tremor of exhaustion and new resolve that made me tear up. Shinichiro Miki turns Mid-Valley into a scared kid hiding behind cool shades and loud music. His delivery breaks your heart. And Yoshitsugu Matsuoka as Vash, that gentle, unshakable tone when he makes his promise, is the sound of hope refusing to die. Feel that? That's the exact moment the saxophone screams and the Punisher answers. I felt every scar. The fear in Mid-Valley's eyes reminded me of every person I've known who stayed trapped because leaving meant facing what broke them. Wolfwood's stand felt like watching a friend finally choose healing. And Vash's mercy? It left a warm scar, the kind that makes you believe the world can still be wonderful if enough people refuse to give up. The final seconds, when the sky fills with incoming fire, felt like standing on the deck of the Titanic watching the iceberg approach, except this time someone is whispering, I've got you. It's devastating and hopeful at the same time. Yes, some shots feel a touch flatter than Trigun Stampede's cinematic glory, but that flatness forces you to focus on faces and feelings instead of pretty explosions. It's a deliberate choice that serves the story. Mid-Valley's music could have had one more emotional melody, sure, but even that tiny flaw makes him feel more human, imperfect, just like us. Trigun Stargaze Episode 5 isn't just good television. It's a mirror held up to every broken part of us and a hand reaching out saying, you don't have to stay broken. It succeeds completely in what it sets out to do. Make you care so fiercely that the credits roll and you're already reaching for the next episode. As the missiles streak across that blood-orange sky and one man's quiet promise hangs in the air, only one question remains. What would you choose if the world was ending and someone offered you a chance to save it anyway? Press play. The desert is waiting. And trust me, once you step into it, you won't want to leave until you know how the song ends. Love and peace, but only if we fight for it.